In today's video, I'm going to cover the technical reason why, as you use AI for longer and longer, it starts to become worse and make more mistakes. My name is Kenneth Chiba, and I've built AI systems for dozens of companies across 15 different industries. And so understanding and knowing these little quirks and details about AI has been really, really important for me. So I'm going to do my best to teach you as well. So the concept we're covering today is called a context window limit. I covered it in the last video, but I'm going to briefly go over it again, but this ties directly into the concept of statelessness. AI by default is stateless. This means that at any given time, AI doesn't actually remember anything. The reason it even remembers the conversations you have with it to begin with is because these platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Grok are actually feeding the entire conversation into the model at every message. Now, as you might imagine, there's a limit to how much the model can actually handle and remember. That is what the context window limit is. But how is a context window limit calculated? It's calculated in a format called tokens. Tokens are very similar to a character count or a word count. And in fact, if you want to know the exact token count of any word or paragraph that you have, you can use OpenAI or ChatGPT's parent company and look up Tokenizer. They have a free tool out there that actually lets you calculate exactly how many tokens a word or a paragraph is. Now, back to the main topic. Once you understand what a context window limit is, the next question is, why does this matter and what should I do about it? Well, the reason it matters is because if you've ever used a platform like Claude or ChatGPT and noticed that after a longer conversation, it starts to make more mistakes or it just becomes worse, this is the exact reason. There's a lot of research out there that proves that as a context window limit fills up, the model's quality gets worse, and it doesn't just get worse linearly, it gets exponentially worse, which basically means it gets really bad really quickly. So what can you do about it? Well, there's two main things that you can do about it. The first thing I'll cover is what to do as you approach your context window limit. And the second thing to do is a canary in a coal mine trick, which is basically the trick that I've been using to detect when a model is hitting the context window limit. So for number one, what to do when you actually hit that limit. If you're working on a smaller task, you can usually just close that chat and start a fresh one, and you'll have no issues at all. However, if you're working on a larger project inside of Claude Code or Claude Cowork, sometimes there's a lot of information that you really want to save, and you don't want the new chat to just completely forget. In this case, you're going to want to make something called a handoff document. A handoff document is basically a text file that Claude will generate for you that tells the next Claude chat the exact context of where you guys left off. That way it can pick up the conversation exactly where you ended it. The way I like to generate this is by using the prompt, create a handoff document that would allow a brand new chat with zero context to pick up exactly where we left off. I've found that this prompt is 90 to 95% of the way there, and honestly, I don't see why I need to push for that extra 5 to 10%. So this is the one I use. Number two is the canary and the coal mine trick. The reason I call it this actually has to do with the story of canary and coal mines, which I might get the details wrong, but the basic gist is this. As you go into a coal mine, certain miners were dying due to toxic gas and fumes, and what miners started to do was bring a canary, which was a bird that would chirp when it was alive, down into the mines with them. What they realized was because a canary could not breathe in as much toxic gas as a human could before it died, if the canary stopped chirping, this was an indicator that they were in an area with toxic gas, and so the miners knew to get out immediately. Basically, we want to create some kind of indicator for Claude that tells us a similar thing that, hey, the context window limit is filling up. We need to either create a handoff document or move to a new chat immediately. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but one really simple method is by having Claude start every message with your first name. This is really simple because it means that if it ever says your first name, the context window limit is relatively fresh, it still remembers that instruction, and it's not degrading in quality. However, the moment it slips up and doesn't say your name, that's an indicator that it's starting to forget some important instructions. And if it's forgetting an instruction as simple as start every message with the user's name, it's more than likely that it's starting to forget other instructions as well. So in conclusion, one thing I want you to do after watching this video, so you're actually learning something by changing your behavior rather than watching another AI video and calling it educational, is I want you to go to other chats that you've already had with AI, whether it's with Claude, ChatGPT, whatever the platform is, and go to a chat where you notice that AI was kind of underperforming and just scroll and look at how long it was. What you'll more than likely realize is that the chat was actually very, very long, or there were certain messages where the AI was doing a lot of thinking, which also takes up a lot of tokens. If you want this video in text format or any of my other videos in the AI Basic course in text format, you can go ahead and click the link in the website That's actually my personal website, and I have all of the AI basic course as individual text guides with links to each of them. So that way they're all in one place. Hopefully this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.